Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, and to the sincere believers out there. This is the brother Habadiar from the GMS Toronto camp coming back at you with another one. And I was watching the elder from Mississippi's video, and he was, I was watching a little bit of it this morning, and he was just going into like, the only way to that we're gonna, the only way that we're gonna escape this judgment, that's coming to this place is by going up into those chariots, you know, um, and that's only gonna be the elect, because the Lord is coming back. He's upset. He's not pleased. He's not pleased with Israel, with 2/3 of our people, and all the wickedness that is you know that is going on about, on this earth. So he's coming back with a fierce vengeance. And people think they could go to other countries, these elites, these elites, and even lesser, you know um like these like your celebrities and your athletes, your Jeff Bezos, they're building their bunkers, because they know what's going to happen, in terms of nuclear war and whatnot. So a lot of people, they think that, they're prideful. They think that they can escape the Lord's judgment. But the only ones who are going to escape this judgment are the elect of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and that's by going into those chariots. So I started off with this precept. I think in my last video I was going to start off again. Joel 2:1. The terrible visitation. So it's going to be a very terrible time for for the world. When Yahweh Shai returns. So verse 1: Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness, a day of gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and strong there hath not been ever, and like neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So this time, that this time when Yahushua returns, you know it's gonna be a dark day. That massive chariot, that massive mountain that the Lord is gonna be upon is gonna be huge. It's gonna blot out the sun. You know, all the war and chaos that is gonna be happening. All the missiles going off. You know, it's gonna create that a big smoke. That big mushroom cloud. And there's you can't outrun a missile. You can't outrun ultimately the judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's why us of the hopeful elect, we put our best foot forward in this truth, in this walk, in this journey, so that so the Lord may have mercy upon us, on this great day. Because um the only way the only way to escape this judgment is to be in those chariots. you know A lot of people are gonna die when Yahweh Shai returns. You can just we know for a fact that the whole of America is gonna be devoured by fire. You know, that's a lot of people. You know, that are gonna feel that heat. You know, this world doesn't realize what's really about to go down. You know, watch these movies. You know, these movies about nuclear war and how scary that sight would be to witness that in the flesh. You know, that's why Ezra said, woe is me, woe is me. Because that time it's gonna be, there's gonna be no escape. All the chaos that's gonna be going on during the time of Yahweh Shai's return, them chariots is gonna be the only is gonna be the only is gonna be the only safe zone. You know, everywhere else is fair game. Verse 2, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Nothing is, like it says, it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. You know, nothing is gonna escape, the fire that is coming upon this place. You know, nothing. Verse 4, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as a horseman, so shall they run. Like the noise of the chariots on the top of the mountain, shall they leap, like the noise of a flame, a fire that devoureth in stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. So, this is gonna people are gonna be, people are gonna be losing it. The World War III is gonna be going on. It's gonna be civil war. Before their faces, the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. Yeah, because of all the smoke, like you see in War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, when the fucking, when the, so-called UFOs, but we know that's not what they are. But when they were, laser beaming the people, people were turned to dust. You even think about even 9/11, you know? Then when those buildings went down, anyone that was in the radius of those towers going down was covered in smoke. Covered in smoke, covered in dust, all from all the debris, you know? It's gonna be a terrible time. It's gonna be a very terrible time. And that's why the elect are gonna go up into those chariots. Be saved. This is Luke 21 and 27. Go straight to the point. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So, where we're paying attention to what's happening around us, you know, and with the current events. You know, we see that Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come. You know, these the chariot sightings, you know, all around. You know, this is giving us hope. These are signs that are warning us that Yahweh Shai is on his way. You know, salvation is near. You know, because you know, daily, you know, we're you know we're you know praying, you know, we're sighing and we're crying, you know, begging for Yahweh Shai's mercy, you know, begging him to, you know, not, you know, not take his Holy Spirit away from us. You know, it's a lifeline that we need, you know, especially in these times, these difficult times. You know, a time like now when there's, you know, so many distractions, so many different worries, you know, so many things to try to throw you off your game. And that's why Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, you know, we need him. We need him now. We're gonna need him, you know, even more in the times to come. It's Ecclesiasticus 34:16. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, a cover from the sun at noon, a preservation from stumbling, and an help from falling. You know? And there's a serious heat coming to Babylon the Great, you know, coming to North America. A serious heat is coming. The heat from those chariots, the heat from those warheads, the ICBMs, you know, the heat of Jacob's trouble. And Yahweh Hashem Shai is going to cover us, keep us protected, you know, be a defense against this wicked devil and all the scheming and plans that he has to come. Talking about this Nipa shit, you know, there's demons on these people out here, bugging out, you know, or certain things, you know, certain day-to-day things, you know, will you know, mess with us, you know, you know, try to you know, get in our head, you know. Sometimes, you know, we may stumble, you know, but we got to get up. We don't fall. We don't fall out, you know. It's not an easy journey. You can't you know, we're not going to walk, you know, we're not going to make it onto those chariots by being perfect, you know. You know, we strive for perfection, but in these bodies we can't. But you know, how about Shem Yashai is with us? He keeps us from falling. And he's gonna keep, you know, us safe, you know, during his return. You know, and so and I say us and I say Lord will, because you know there's nothing more than we want to be a part of the elect. There's nothing more that we want, you know. It's like, you know, sometimes I think to myself, you know, you want it so bad that sometimes you look at this world and it's it's hard to get like motivated about certain shit, you know, because everything is just vain. Everything is just gonna pass away. It's just we just want the kingdom so bad. We just want to be at peace. We want to be at peace with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you know. But you gotta just keep going. Uh, our apostles and elders, they've been in this for, you know, 30, 40 plus years. So I'm a baby compared to that. If and that,